So I'm extremely pleased to welcome you to Reserve's National Conference. I've been looking forward to saying that. I might say it one more time before I finish, just because I like it. We're here today, as you all know, because of three social entrepreneurs, Jack Rosenthal, Herb Sturz, and Michael Weinstein, who had a vision to create opportunities for older adults to put their professional skills to work by filling gaps in not-for-profit and government agencies. And Herb is not with us here today, but Michael and Jack are, as you know, and you met Jack last night, for those of you who attended. But Michael, whom you'll hear from in a few moments, just stand up and wave, Michael, because I know you're here. Oh, there he is. He's here. They envisioned thousands of reservists leveraging their expertise through reserve offices located in every corner of the country. And I am certain that at some point along the way, the idea of an international reserve crossed their minds. If not, I'm slowly going to plant it throughout the day. Well, their idea worked. You're all a testament to that. And since its founding, Reserve has placed over 3,300 reservists across 743 community agencies, providing close to 1 million hours of service. That's remarkable. We are profoundly grateful for their foresight and for entrusting us with this tremendous idea, putting it into the hands of Fedcap about a year ago. And we are working diligently to do you proud, Jack. We're working diligently to do you proud. And so I hope to fulfill your vision over the next several years and come back perhaps to another national convention and truly make true your vision some 9 years ago. There are so many of you who continue to ensure the success and growth of Reserve, and I was speaking with Carol a few minutes ago. With us today, folks like Nora from the Tufts Health Plan Foundation, who quite honestly provided a startup for the Reserve here in Boston, and we are thrilled that they're here with us today and having been part of the early startup of the Boston affiliate, and so we're very grateful for their participation in today. And we like to make friends and keep friends for a long period of time, and I'm hopeful that many of you who were here from the start of a particular affiliate, whether it be here or elsewhere in the country, will see over time the growth and energy that emerges from this relationship. There are many of you in this room who have made this recent growth possible. I want to make mention of two additional national board members, Lois Waig and Phyllis Siegel. Phyllis, who also serves on the Boston Advisory Board, and Phyllis and Lois are here with us. Just wave or stand if you would, Lois and Phyllis. Thank you for your long-term commitment and hard work. For those of you here yesterday, you met our new and esteemed chair, Deborah Sale. She is now our national board chair. She comes to us after serving as the executive vice president for external affairs of New York's Hospital for Special Surgery. And quite frankly, we are very, very, very lucky to have her. So thank you, Deb. We thank you, please. There are several advisory board members in the room today, and I want to make special mention of them because in my mind, as we grow, they, and I have said this from the beginning, from the very early on hearing about Reserve and what its power could be across the country, I really felt as though the advisory boards were key and a prime fuel for this type of expansion, and the heart and soul, in many ways, second only to the reservists themselves, of the expansion and the good work and implementation that can occur throughout the country. And here with us from Miami is Ann Machado, whom you'll hear from in one of our presentations, Mary Reed, Deb Golden, Christine Green, Doug Dickinson from the Boston Advisory Council. And they're with us here today. If you wouldn't mind just waving or standing, I want to be. There are a handful of staff that I just want to make mention of because truly a day like today hopefully will go off flawlessly. So far, so good. Doesn't happen by itself. And we have a competent team in James Cook, David Biederman, Sue Sawyer, Andrea Mitch, and they've worked really, really hard behind the scenes. And if guys, just give a quick wave. Yesterday, you met Serena Powell, who is the president and CEO of Community Work Services, the new home for Reserve here in Boston, also the senior vice president of Fedcap's New England region. And I think you could tell from her enthusiasm last night, she's extremely capable, and Reserve Boston, working with Carol, will be in good hands and a fantastic leader. So for those of you who didn't meet her, she's here today. Most of you in the room, whether you're an advisory board member or a director from another reserve, if you haven't met Carol Greenfield, you know of her, or you have listened to her and gotten some great advice from her on some of the phone calls you've been on. Carol Greenfield is the director of Reserve Boston. She's instrumental in putting this event together, and certainly instrumental in the success and the care and feeding of Reserve Boston. And please, Carol, would you stand, because I think folks, if they don't know you, Laura Trainer and the entire Reserve team in New York, many of whom are here today. One, they participated in the development of this conference, but I do believe that they have been a strong sense of leadership throughout the country in terms of providing sort of benchmarking and guidance in connection with the growth of Reserve across the nation. So if you're from the New York team, and I know you're probably working a table over there or doing something, so just give a wave from the New York team. Thanks, guys. There are a number of Reserve directors in the room. We made mention of Carol and Laura already, and I see Daisha here, who heads up the Miami. Just for optics, if everyone who is heading up a Reserve in another state, in any state, just stand up, and truly stand up this time. I don't want to wave, I want to stand in. I want to see us stand. So we have New Jersey, we have Daisha. And Laura and Carol, you should be up. Laura and Carol should be up. So I want to draw this part out. These are the leaders of the reservists across the country represented here today. You can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 states represented. So that's fantastic. And in the years to come, we hope 10 states and 15 states. So thank you guys for your hard work. Very much appreciated. And finally, there's one person that I'm certain everyone in the room knows, and that's Lori Lutz, our Chief Strategy Officer. And she's been instrumental in just about every facet of this conference, but also in many of the efforts across the country to advance Reserve. And so you'll see her later today, but I just want to be sure everybody knows. Finally, Brookline Bank, for their generous donation and sponsoring this event. We're very, very appreciative of that. And so I'm not sure if the folks from Brookline are here, but if you are, just give a wave. No, but thank you so much. Know that they're a generous sponsor of this event today. There's nothing like an idea whose time has come. As much as Reserve has accomplished in 9 years, we all believe that we are still very much at the beginning. The current demographic trends, the aging of the population, people's desire to give back, the need among not-for-profits and community groups for additional resources, all point to a tremendous opportunity for Reserve. The future indeed looks bright. And now I would like to introduce Michael Weinstein, a Reserve board member, also founder. He's going to add his insights and introduce our keynote speaker, with whom you will not be disappointed. I've heard her speak a couple times now, and she's remarkable, so I'm looking forward to that. I have great respect and intellect for Michael Weinstein, the rigor in his approach to program evaluation and quality improvement, second to none. Michael is a PhD economist from MIT. He's an author. He's a teacher. He even had a period on NPR as a commentator, and I didn't know that, and I could just hear him now on that. He is currently the Chief Program Officer for Robin Hood, and I tell you, and now a Fedcap board member. We are extremely lucky to have Michael guiding Reserve and now Fedcap, and it is my privilege and pleasure to ask him to join us. Thank you.
Thank you. You have my hour-long slideshow queued up? Let me take a personal moment before I get to the business at hand, which is to reflect back about 12 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, when Jack had this idea for Reserve. It was his idea. Herb and I were all too privileged to join in and help him start the organization some 9 years ago. And we could only have imagined that in a relatively short amount of time, it would already be a national organization in which we would have a national conference of this sort. So this is a dream come true, quite a poignant moment as I think back. Now to the business at hand. Ursula Sadinger is the perfect keynote speaker for the following obvious reasons. She knows more than anybody else about aging and the process of aging, psychology of aging, the physical issues of aging. And two words leap to mind when I think of her work as I've come to view it. One is the word possibility, and the other is evidence. The possibility is a word often used by social scientists, particularly members of my tribe in economics, proving possibility theorems. We now know, for instance, that it is possible to take disadvantaged 4-year-olds, 3-year-olds, give them an enriched environment and have it have 20, 30, and 40-year consequences for their behavior and outcomes. In Ursula's case, it's the other end of that spectrum. And what she's proven, the possibility is that as we age, we become even more productive in some ways, less productive in others, but it's all in the collecting of evidence. You can't predict much from the birth date of somebody. You can predict a lot by talking to them, observing them, and interacting with them and finding out what they are and are not capable of doing. So she's opened up this whole world for us to recognize the possibilities that we have as we get older, what we can do and what we can aim to do. And the second part of it is that word evidence. And evidence comes in two flavors when I think of her work. There's the evidence I just talked about, observe somebody, talk to them, interact with them, find out what they can do and not do, but also evidence in her research. That is to say, she's not someone who slathers the world with more adjectives and adverbs. She contributes to the world deep research about what's going on, what can happen, and what should happen. And so I look forward to her remarks. I'd like to make one other semi-personal comment. You can see in her bio that she's done a frightening number of things, and she's led all kinds of organizations here and abroad, and it's all impressive. She may well be, and probably is, the most foremost scholar of aging in the world at this point, at least the English-speaking world. But it's the latest title that she has that I think runs deepest just for me, and I'll bet for Jack, which is that she's the Robert Butler Professor at Columbia University. And those of us who had the privilege and the utter privilege of ever knowing Bob Butler, let alone working with him, would know what a burden she bears in carrying his name. And the point is, she's more than up to the task. Bob was the leading light in this field for until his death. Motivated a number of us to get interested and involved, and I suspect a lot of people in this room. And the neat thing about Ursula is that what a great honor for her to have, and also Bob is smiling widely to know she's picking up his name and carrying it forward. So let me bring on Ursula.